Units of the 10th Separate Mountain Assault Brigade, Edelweiss, of Ukraine successfully repelled a massive assault by Russian forces in the Siversk sector. According to Defense Express, the enemy launched 8 separate assaults on the positions of Ukrainian defenders. However, thanks to the heroism and professionalism of the warriors from the 10th Brigade, Edelweiss, all these attacks were repelled, resulting in significant losses for the enemy. In total, the occupiers deployed around 30 units of armored vehicles and over 70 motorcycles and buggies. These vehicles attacked in waves and from different directions, attempting to break through the defensive line. Additionally, approximately 300 Russian soldiers participated in the assault. Nevertheless, the Ukrainian brigade and supporting units managed to repel the attack, inflicting heavy losses in both personnel and armored vehicles. FPV drones were actively used to intercept enemy columns, effectively targeting heavily armored vehicles, infantry, motorcycles, and buggies. The enemy lost 3 infantry fighting vehicles that were transporting troops, 13 motorcycles, 4 buggies, 1 MTLB tractor, 1 120mm mortar, and 1 vehicle. In addition to the 10th Separate Mountain Assault Brigade, units of the 54th Mechanized Brigade and the 81st Air Assault Brigade and the 4th Operational Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine participated in repelling the assault. The situation in the Siversk sector remains tense as the occupiers continue to attempt to breach the Ukrainian defensive lines. Russian troops continue assaults on the Siversk front. Russian commanders are sending occupiers in one direction with no expectation that they will return, says Stepan Barna, the commander of the Barny unit of the Motorized Infantry Battalion of the Edelweiss 10th Mountain Assault Brigade, according to the Kiev 24 channel. A recent BBC analysis reveals that the occupiers have abandoned meat grinder tactics with dozens of soldiers charging across open fields. Now, they send smaller groups on motorcycles, civilian vehicles, and even electric scooters to target Ukrainian positions. While many are eliminated, the sheer number of attempts means some groups eventually break through to reach their objectives. Despite heavy Russian losses, this strategy allows them to capture about 1 Ukrainian village per day. Bana has also confirmed that occupiers are using motorcycles in their assaults. Some of these vehicles are intercepted by Ukrainian forces. The motorcycles are only fueled for a one-way trip, meaning there is no expectation that the soldiers will return. They prefer to move on buggies, but we also seize many motorcycles. It's clear that they are only fueled for a one-way journey. That means the motorcycle definitely won't return, Bana said. He added that the enemy is attacking from all directions in the Seversk area, attempting to break through the defense line quickly. The Seversk front is located in eastern Ukraine, specifically within the Donetsk Oblast, near the town of Seversk. Neither the Kremlin nor the interim Syrian government seems to be confident in the future of the Russian bases in Syria, which is why Moscow continues to announce preparations for the evacuation of its military personnel and military equipment from the bases in Syria in Khmeimim and Tartus. Many sources associated with Hayat Tahrir al-Sham gave different and contradictory statements regarding the future status of Russian military bases in Syria. Analysts from the ISW decided to figure out the situation themselves. The Qatari publication Al-Arabi Al-Jadid announced that Putin's army should leave Syria within a month. Analysts from the ISW are sure that the rebels from Hayat Tahrir al-Sham have not yet made a final decision regarding the future of Russian military bases. It is possible that the rebels face international pressure regarding the presence of the Russian army in Syria. On December the 16th, the head of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the EU, Kallas, said that a question was raised with the new Syrian government regarding Russian military personnel. However, new satellite images show that the Kremlin is ready to either completely withdraw its troops from Syria or at least partially. The day before, the Syrian media reported that the Kremlin began the evacuation of its soldiers from Khmeimim. A large military convoy is also being prepared for the withdrawal of troops through Tartus. Russian Il-76 transport aircraft and dozens of military vehicles on the runway of the Khmeimim airbase, as well as dozens of Russian military vehicles assembled in the port of Tartus, are visible on Maktar satellite images from December the 15th to the 17th. Russia will probably take this preliminary position and withdraw some assets in case the Russian Federation decides to deny it further military presence in Syria, but it remains unclear what the Russian Federation intends to do. Russia has begun withdrawing a large amount of military equipment and troops from Syria following the ouster of former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, according to 2 US officials and a Western official familiar with the intelligence. The officials characterized the Russian withdrawal as large-scale and significant and said it began last week, but it is not clear whether it will be permanent. The officials noted, US and Western intelligence suggests that Russian officials have been trying to determine whether Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, the main rebel group now in charge of Syria, is open to a negotiated settlement of some kind that would allow Russia to remain in some of its key bases, the sources all said. Those bases include Russia's Khmeimim airbase in Latakia and a port facility at Tartus.